It's a Married with Channels podcast. My name is Moose.
I'm Jody.
And we're a married couple. We talk TV shows and movies when we friggin' feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. You tell them, Jody.
That's right. When I have time.
I know, we have so much time to kill.
Uh,
It's hard. It's hard getting this stuff done. It's hard getting anything done. And then, we'd like to do this little podcast, which provides zero income.
this is fun. But
Yeah.
we're busy having summer fun and our kids are living their best life.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
And it's always about the kids.
Of course. Anyway.
An occasional guitar.
So, after they go to bed, we watch TV sometimes.
Try
Because we're
to.
tired.
Yeah.
Try to, yeah.
Try to.
Fall asleep while
I know.
watching TV.
We'll be watching a
Sorry.
show and be like, oh, yeah. And I'll look at Jody and Jody's like,
I'm like, it's so good. I'm dreaming about it.
I've immersed myself into it. This Acolyte show is so amazingly good. I want to be a part of it.
Sorry. I
Let's-
get up early.
Yeah, I know. Let's jump right into it
Yeah.
after we spend a few minutes dawdling.
Yeah.
The Acolyte, the latest Star Wars show on Disney Plus. Yes,
Yeah,
Jody.
I have been waiting to talk to you about this show. I have been holding it all back for this podcast. So,
I'm with you.
all right, you go first.
It's horrible.
Right?
It's not a good show. And it's very much a letdown because I remember seeing the teasers for The Acolyte, and the premise was it was set like, I don't know, a couple hundred or 1,000 years before the Luke Skywalker Star Wars era.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's mostly about like the birth of the Sith and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. This might be kind of dark and gritty. And it's
Mhm.
not that. It's just more the same shit that they barf out on Disney Plus with the Star Wars brand on it.
Yeah. It is kind of more of the same. And I don't like it either. And there was like a whole episode. And since we're talking about kids and watching TV and no time, like, I like to get lost in these shows as an escape, as most people do. People go to the movies for a little escape. People watch TV for that. And there was an episode where there were just like kids fighting. I was like, I do not want to listen to kids fighting during my downtime. Like, this is all I hear is these kids bickering. It was not enjoyable.
I don't remember that episode.
She was about to get her powers with her mother.
Oh,
And
the twins were fighting.
The twins were fighting, and it
Okay.
was just like, this is not relaxing to listen to children fighting. Like, this is my escape from children fighting. Like, I don't want that in my TV. And it just was kind of going on and on and on for a while. I don't know.
It's just that's the least of my concerns with the show. That's annoying. But and some people, big Star Wars fans, take umbrage with like they took kind of some of the canon of Star Wars and tweaked it. So instead of the Force, there's the thread, which I don't really give a shit about. My issues with the show is there's logic that's not making sense. There's just kind of choices that are odd, and it's just not compelling. I don't know they kind of sold it when it first came out as like a murder mystery, but no, we know who's doing it. And then they reveal who the big bad is. Episode 4, maybe 5. And even that's not that interesting.
Right.
The only thing interesting about the show is the big bad is kind of a effervescent, almost nice, charming guy. You know, you expect every Sith master you've ever seen has always been like this kind of, I'm a bad guy,
Sure.
This guy's more like, hey, I'm going to go for a dip. You can play with that lightsaber if you want, But there's just.
Maybe that's how he gets people.
Yeah. Maybe
and
he's
manipulates them.
Yeah.
you
Maybe
know?
he's like kind of the salesman of Sith dark side. He's like going to silver tongue you. But
Sure.
he, and the whole point of like the witches, the lesbian witch house building rock caught on fire, but it's literally made of rock and metal. And yet
Yeah.
the whole thing goes up in flames. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's just, it has that polished turd quality about it.
I feel like it takes a really long time to move anything. Like it's just really kind of, it's taking too long in each episode to get where you're going, which is kind of not really anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of checked out on this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it to see it through, much like Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett. You know, that was a shit show, but part of the Star Wars fandom in me is like, I need to finish this out.
Yeah.
Maybe it ends something good. I don't know. I'm not hopeful here, especially after stuff like this.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
That was just so bad. The power of many.
Yeah.
Like who arranged that little musical piece?
I don't know.
It's just bad. The Acolyte is bad, and it's to the point where I really feel like Star Wars needs a break. They need to take a break from Star Wars. No TV shows, no movies. You know, they don't know what they're doing with this IP.
I think they're doing everything with this IP.
But they don't know what they're doing. They're trying everything, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a way to handle a multi-billion-dollar property. Like, you look at the new trilogy of movies, they didn't have a plan for those three. They made the first one, and then they went to Rian Johnson. Okay, what do you got for the second one? It's like, no, you should have a plan in place.
I mean, maybe some of this has come about creatively as a product of some of the other stuff that's come out. You know, I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Like,
it just, whoever's at the helm for Lucasfilm is failing. And I think that's Kathleen Kennedy. She is failing this IP.
Yeah.
She's failing the Star Wars universe. And look, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I'm definitely a fan. There are way more crazy fanatics. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Sure.
In addition to a few million other people. And that's fine. But I feel like the people running Lucasfilm are just shitting all over this franchise.
I feel like anymore these franchises are just about like what kind of licensing and merchandising deals can you get. And if you think about it, like they're probably brokering deals for this new Star Wars show before it even comes out.
Oh, definitely.
You know? So
definitely.
It's probably like printing money with this IP because why not? And then it's viewed as a successful or a piece of that franchise because they make money from it. You know?
Yeah, but then you're making movies for all the wrong reasons.
Well, absolutely.
I get it. It's a business. You have to make money.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've turned a profit on most of these, movies anyway.
Not to get all like super deep, but I mean, that's corporate America across the board is like how much money they can make, not really doing it for the right reasons, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Doesn't seem to be anyway.
Star Wars is one of those things that there's such a big built-in audience that you're going to make money. Mm-hmm. Why not make the product good? You know?
Ask lots of CEOs that, like,
yeah,
you've already made a lot of money. Why not make your product good?
But what
would happen then?
But when those same CEOs say, "Oh, we made $200 million in profit off this," how can we make $400 million in profit? You know what I mean?
I mean, you would think, but I don't. I think something's getting lost there in, you know,
there's something
quality.
There's something inherent. There's like this little virus that's running through all the Star Wars decisions. And it makes them in their brains and meetings come up with stupid shit and bad ideas. Like
I don't think this is a bad idea. Like, I'm interested in knowing how that came about and kind of how the bad side did grow to be such a big thing in that universe, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, there's some good ideas here. Like the Acolyte on paper was a good idea.
Yes.
The execution of it sucked.
Agree.
And maybe I should rephrase. Their execution of these ideas suck.
Yeah.
Flat out. I mean, the Acolyte, it should have been darker. It should have been grittier. There should have been more, not realism, but I don't know, more character work.
Mm.
I don't know. They're just too infatuated with creating these new lightsabers and let's make this creature now. Look at this creature. It's got 4 arms. Oh, neat. Isn't that cool? Here's a new version of R2-D2 and it fits in your pocket. Who cares?
And also, well, it's a cute little droid. Lots of people have cared about those in the past. Okay. Number one. Number two, it's a lot about orchestrating those fight scenes too, which I will give credit where credit is due. Like this one had a couple good fight scenes, but I don't know, where, they looked real. They didn't look choreographed or cheesy or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone was like that, but there were a couple good fight scenes. But you can't bank a whole show and a story on just really cool effects.
No, you need story. You need character.
Yeah.
And this show's missing that. Like that first episode, that fight scene with Carrie-Anne Moss, that was great.
Yeah.
And the fight scene with a bunch of lightsabers in the forest on one of the more recent episodes, that was great.
Yeah. I'm with you.
That's great.
Yeah, you just pointed out my 2 favorite fight scenes too.
But after that, what else you got? What else you got for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
know. The
know.
Acolyte sucks.
Yeah.
Power of 1. The power of 2. The power of many.
Like even that, like whoever choreographed, arranged that little musical part of that is just, we couldn't go with a different key on that,
It was a little off. Maybe it was meant to make you feel uncomfortable.
That maybe, but for all the wrong reasons.
It's like a disjointed chord and timing there, but maybe it was done that way on purpose because it creates a tension of, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's just poor ear. I don't know.
Yeah, I think somebody was tone deaf when they made that.
Moving
on. Well, moving on to some more uncomfortable stuff.
Uncomfortable.
Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
Netflix show. This is the backstory, if you don't know it, is a comedian in the UK had this stalker just make his life miserable for a couple years at least. And he turned that into this show called Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
And it is uncomfortable as fuck.
It is crazy. The story is crazy. And yeah, there's a lot of damage in the wake of this story. It's kind of nutty.
And on paper, you're watching it. It takes about 5 episodes where you're like, why is this guy not just told Martha to fuck the hell off? Scream at her, get out of my life.
Stop taking her calls.
Yeah, stop taking her calls. Don't reply to her texts.
Ghost her.
Yeah. But then you get into like why he maybe is having trouble cutting her loose because he himself went through some trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of understand why he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So
that, and I think it kind of says the difference between a good-hearted person and a not so good-hearted person. Like, as annoying and as disruptive as this is to his life, like when it comes down to it, he's still kind of inside a good person, so he doesn't want to hurt someone, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very much the first episode. She seems kind of like, look, she's an overweight woman who doesn't have many prospects in life.
Yeah,
and
I think
he kind of smells that on her when she comes into the pub he works at, and he's very kind to her, offers her a free tea or something.
I don't know.
And, she's very much appreciative and taken aback by that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, oh, okay, nice guy. But then it just devolves into her staking out in front of his parents' house day and night.
So weird.
Sending these weird messages, calling him Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
Reindeer, hence the name of the show.
Yeah.
Constant
emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's revealed she's had some prior history with some issues.
Stalking.
Yeah. It's all based allegedly on a real situation he went through. And I guess he and Netflix are being sued by this woman who is supposed to have been the basis for the character Martha.
Yeah.
Who's the stalker. So we'll see where that goes. But,
interesting.
Let me point out, allegedly this happened. But can you imagine?
No, I was
Being
going to
stalked
ask
by
you that.
somebody.
Yeah, could you handle? I couldn't.
Yeah.
No,
Like I joked back in the days when I was doing radio, like, it'd be kind of fun to have a stalker.
Oh
Jokingly.
God.
Because it's like, oh, they really like what I do. Great. But this is like, you don't think about stuff like them camping out in front of your house day and night or
Or
harassing
threatening your wife and children,
Right,
or
right.
yeah, or hurting them.
Yeah. Maybe even seeing them at the school and offering to give them a ride home or some bullshit, you know.
Yeah, giving them, meeting them for ice cream. Bribing our kids with ice cream, and I don't know, the lengths that people go to sometimes. It's just like, that is crazy.
It is. It's very much crazy. Here's, speaking of crazy, a clip from the show where I forget his name, but Martha and him are in a diner, and it starts off well enough.
I can see you're bleeding. Deep wounds. Who was it?
Martha, can you let go of my hand now, please?
I want names.
Martha, please.
Names.
Martha, please.
Names.
Martha, please, let go.
Don't you dare!
Ooh. That's like in the small little diner with, other patrons in there.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
that should be your red flag, your big red giant flag.
What's interesting about the story is at least his fellow pub workers are not sympathetic to what he's going through. Like there's one point where they escort her out. I forget. I think it's because she's causing a problem.
Yeah,
But for the most part, they just laugh at it.
they just tease him the whole time. They're
Yeah.
just kind of, what's the word? They're just like his drunken mates kind of giving him a hard time all the time about it. And not understanding the full extent, I think, of the situation. And then they didn't make it better when they, sent messages back from his phone or whatever. Like, yeah. So anyway.
But the show is done very well.
Yeah.
It's acted very well.
Yeah.
Martha, I don't know if you remember her from The Outlaws.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a pretty good
the guard.
actress.
Yeah, she is.
Like she's actually kind of funny in The Outlaws, which is a much lighter tone show. Well, it has some dark, but anyway, it's pretty much a comedy. And this one, she's definitely bringing. This is a great role for an actor, I would think, because you can be kind of sympathetic, happy, nice, sad. You get to be friendly, jovial. Then you can also be kind of this boiling underneath the skin, crazy, sadistic type of personality.
Yeah, you
You
get
can really flex your acting muscles here, I would think.
Yeah, you get that jovial versus psychotic.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
And also a challenge because you're trying to do something that's, relatable and not too like shticky. You don't want to do like a evil villain type character.
Right.
You still got to ground it in humanity. But
Right.
at the same time, she's got to be a little crazy.
But I feel like she's doing a really great job because it is believable. Like, get kind of lost in her performance there because you really kind of get the feeling, even though, obviously we know she's acting, that, this is how this person would be in this situation,
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, it's doing a good job of not making the stalking thing. It seems like this is really how it would happen with stalking. Richard Gadd is the creator and star of the show. It plays Donnie Dunn. But it very much feels like, this is how it would happen. It starts off innocent enough, and there are moments where things seem normal, but then there's moments where this is definitely not normal.
Yeah. And, you're also kind of getting a glimpse into the person being stalked. And, you kind of touched upon this, like why certain people have these things that happen to them, and
Put up with it.
yeah. And also, this character comes with trauma of their own, so you kind of get to see inside that as well.
Mhm.
And then they're trying to make it as a comedian, and there's struggles there, and so you kind of really do get some in-depth character too. It's not just about the stalking and the craziness that happens, but there's just more there. And then just kind of trying to have a new, like a normal, regular life while this chaos is going on, you know?
Yeah. And like you said, we find out some backstory about Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen much as far as Martha. There's been some mention of her stalking in the past, but I would be curious. And I should point out, we haven't finished the entire show.
Sure.
I think we maybe have 2-3 episodes left, if that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if they get into any of her backstory, into Martha's backstory, to see why she is the way she is. Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's an interesting show. It deals with not only the stalking, but there's like humans are fallible and there's reasons why there's more to humans than just what you see, you know, like I said, it wasn't until like episode 4, I think, that we found out about Donnie's trauma. And it deals with trauma in an interesting way, and how if you don't deal with it, it can affect not only how you put up with the stalker, but, you know, he lost his girlfriend essentially because of his trauma.
And also, like, from the stalker vantage point, like, you know, there's got to be some mental illness there for her to not respect someone's boundaries and to continuously cross those and push those lines and feel like the normal rules of society don't apply here because this is all I can think about, and kind of that one track mind.
Yeah. Again, I hope they give us some background on Martha.
Yeah, right.
But Baby Reindeer, I think, is an interesting show, and I think it's worth a watch.
Yep.
And we should actually watch the rest of this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else on Baby Reindeer, my baby mama?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we will wrap it up there on this Married with Channels podcast, the podcast with a married couple talking TV shows and movies. We'll have a couple more shows coming up in our next episode, a whodunit and a documentary on what happened to her.
Ooh.
Type of thing. So tune in for that next week. Until then, make sure you give us a good review. Follow us on the Twitter at MarriedWChans.
Share, tell your friends.
Absolutely. Until next time, I'm Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We'll see you.
Bye.